Okay, let's dive right into this. Welcome to This Explainer, where we're going to unpack the epic westward migration story of a truly fascinating 19th century couple, Devier and Abigail Smith. Their lives perfectly capture that restless, entrepreneurial American spirit of the era. We're going to see exactly how they built their enduring family legacy across a rapidly expanding nation, exploring their lives across multiple states and their ventures in livery and millinery along the way. Here's our roadmap for today. We'll start with their origins in New York, head over to the Wisconsin frontier, track their movements as Midwest makers, explore their Nebraska adventures, and finally wrap up with their lasting legacy out in California. To put things into perspective, just look at the sheer geographical scale of their journey throughout the 19th century. Starting in the 1840s in New York, they relocate to Wisconsin in the 1850s, push into Iowa and Kansas by the 1870s, jump into the Nebraska and Kansas ranching era in the 1880s, before finally putting down permanent roots in California in the 1890s. I mean, we're talking about a massive, multi-state journey that spans several decades. Section 1. Origins in New York. Two distinct beginnings. Now, what's really interesting about this is just how different their starts in life actually were. Take a look at Devier James Lamphere Smith. Notice that confident posture, the tailored suit, and of course, that incredible top hat. But behind this eccentric and totally entrepreneurial exterior is a pretty deep mystery. He was born in 1839, and get this, his birth parents actually remain unknown to this day. He was adopted by Ranslow and Mary Smith in Jefferson County, New York, long before he ever moved west. That mysterious beginning just adds such a cool, intriguing layer to the self-made man he ultimately became. Now, Abigail Vance's start? Completely different. Born in 1844, she came from a bustling, highly prosperous New York farming family. Her father, an English immigrant, built up substantial wealth and owned over $1,000 in real property by 1850, which was no small amount back then. But then, in 1855, when Abigail was just 11 years old, her father made the momentous decision to sell off all their New York land and move the entire family out to the Wisconsin frontier. So she basically traded an established, comfortable community for the vast, challenging unknown. Section 2. The Wisconsin Frontier Union, a marriage at the dawn of the Civil War. This brilliantly illustrates the young couple and their early married years, captured in a tintype around 1868. They officially tied the knot on April 4, 1861, in Rolling Prairie, Wisconsin. And you really have to think about that timing for a second. They started their family precisely as the American Civil War was breaking out. It was a time of unimaginable national turmoil, and yet, here they were, busy building a life and a future together on the frontier. And right out of the gate, there's a fascinating legal twist for them. In 1866, Devier actually had to petition the Wisconsin Senate to officially change his surname from his birth name, Lamphere, to his adopted name, Smith. Why? Well, his adoptive father's will had referred to him as his adopted son, but used his birth name. So to ensure his inheritance and his legal standing, a special legislative act literally had to be passed by the state Senate and signed by the governor of Wisconsin. It just goes to show how carefully they had to navigate legal matters, even on the wild developing frontier. Section 3. Midwest Movers and Makers, chasing opportunities across Iowa, Missouri, and Kansas. $10,000. That is the highly impressive amount of wealth Devier had accumulated in real property by 1870, just a few short years after moving his family to Bedford, Iowa. In today's money, that's a small fortune for sure. It really proves that their restless movement across the map wasn't just aimless wandering. It was a highly strategic and clearly successful pursuit of wealth, land, and opportunity. So the crucial point here is that they weren't just your standard pioneer farmers trying to scrape by. They were a dual-income, entrepreneurial powerhouse. When they moved down to Kansas in the 1870s, Devier operated a highly lucrative livery and sales stable and traded cattle, perfectly capitalizing on the booming railroad and cattle towns. Meanwhile, Abigail wasn't just keeping house. She actively worked as a milliner, utilizing her specialized, skilled trade in designing and making women's hats to bring in extra income. They were truly a team in every sense of the word, both contributing to their economic survival. But, we have to acknowledge that this journey wasn't all just about accumulating wealth and launching businesses. The family grew amidst profound hardship. Over the years, they welcomed 5 children. Della, Davy, and Maudie grew to adulthood. But the harsh, unforgiving reality of 19th century frontier medicine took a heavy toll. Tragically, they lost little Aggie at just 2 years old in Iowa, and later their son Ludi also passed away at age 2 in Kansas. It's a really sobering reminder of the deep personal sorrows that accompanied so many pioneering families who pushed west. Section 4. The Nebraska Adventures, Railroad Boomtowns and Ranching Innovation. In 1885, they make another major move, this time to McCook, Nebraska. Devier and his son established the Blue Front Livery Stable right near the railway station, which was an absolutely brilliant location to capture the growing Great Plains Railroad economy. And Devier, he wasn't just managing horses day in and day out, he was an innovator. In December 1885, he actually received a U.S. patent for a harness rack he designed specifically to improve the efficiency of his livery operations. He was a true practical problem solver. And okay, here is a really fun detail for you. $2. $2. That was the price of a bottle of hair tonic Devier sold on the side. I'm telling you, this guy was the ultimate serial entrepreneur. He was always looking for a quirky side hustle or a fresh business angle. Whether it was trading cattle, running a hotel, patenting stable gear, or hawking $2 hair tonic to cowboys, his hustle literally never stopped. But of course, all these ventures required massive sacrifice. Take a look at this quote found in the family Bible written in November 1889. Myself on the ranch alone, it does my heart good to read the Holy Bible. While the rest of the family was scattered, with Abigail actually visiting California to help with a new grandchild, Devier was busy homesteading 320 acres all alone in Cheyenne County, Kansas. He even once recalled sleeping on the site when there wasn't even a roof to cover him. This entry just conveys such emotional depth and the stark loneliness of a pioneer holding down a claim on the vast empty plains. Sadly, that relentless, restless journey came to an abrupt end on May 1st, 1894. Devier James Smith passed away suddenly from heart disease at the St. Charles Hotel in McCook, Nebraska. He was only 52 years old. His death marked the close of a truly dynamic chapter of Western entrepreneurship and constant pioneering movement for the family. Section 5. A Lasting California Legacy. Abigail's Final Chapter in San Diego. The passage of time you see here is just incredible. Visually anchoring this, we have the rugged 1868 tintype of the three young Smith children out on the frontier, contrasted with Abigail seated calmly in front of a home with her grown family in San Diego in 1895. It's a dramatic, beautiful shift from basic frontier survival to established, multi-generational stability on the California coast. Abigail had traveled out to California in the 1880s, and after Devier's passing, she finally made it her permanent home. And let me tell you, she wasn't just living quietly with family, she was a fiercely independent matriarch. In 1908, well into her 60s, Abigail acquired her own property in San Diego's City Heights area. This perfectly highlights her lasting financial acumen. She didn't rely on others, she actively invested in real estate. She later transferred this property to her daughter Della, completely securing her family's financial legacy before she peacefully passed away in 1931, at the remarkable age of 86. I mean, think about it. She lived from the era of covered wagons all the way to the dawn of modern aviation. It really is an incredible American journey, spanning an entire continent and an era of absolutely massive transformation. So, I want to leave you with this question to chew on. How has the restless pioneer spirit of your own ancestors shaped the life and legacy you live today? Because honestly, every single family has a story of movement, sacrifice, and ambitions somewhere in their past. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and keep exploring the incredible histories that built our world today.